Hi, and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this reading, I'm going to be looking into what are the person on your mind's thoughts and feelings about you today. There are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the blue Kyanite, along with these cards. Group 2 is the Hematite, along with these cards. And group 3 is the clear quartz, along with these cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the blue Kyanite, along with these cards, which I will take a look at in a minute. I'm going to start with some tarot to get kind of some general energies about this connection, this person. So let's see. So we have the 6 of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. 9 of Pentacles, which is earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. 10 of Wands, so more fire energy. And the Ace of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So communication with this person may be kind of strained at this point in time, a lot that they are holding back, that they are wanting to speak to you, some regret it feels like as far as words that were maybe hastily spoken in the past, or an opportunity that they had at one point in time to declare some kind of truth and chose instead to remain silent, to keep that all inside. This is weighing heavily upon them. The 6 of Wands is the energy of victory, but it does come at the cost of battle. So it feels like they've been going back and forth for quite some time about wanting to reach out, make contact with you. Fighting kind of the urge to rush in, trying to be very measured in the words that they are speaking, wanting to be very cautious, wanting to bring forth communication, but in a way that can add to almost the benefit of the connection rather than to further sort of burden the connection, create misunderstandings or deeper complications. It's almost somebody who will remain silent, very much in their own kind of independent energy until they feel equipped to sort of add something of measurable value and worth to the situation. There's a desire to course correct in this circumstance, to be very victorious in the words that they are speaking to you. They may be very intimidated by you at this point in time, seeing you standing in your power, standing in some kind of position of authority or sovereignty within your own life at this point in time. So it may be a struggle to deliver just the proper words or the right kind of truth in order to garner your attention, something that they are questioning, almost like if they are worthy to approach even at this point in time. So a little bit of sort of like self-esteem issues that they might be working on or needing to work through rather at this point in time. Somebody who may be very much kind of solitary company at this point. If there had been third-party situations in the past that were an interference, it feels that these situations have been kind of put on the back burner. Either they have been completely released or it's reached a stage of burden within those situations that there's some distance between these two people. So this person's spending a lot of time on their own, trying to really find themselves, to really sit in their own energy at this point in order to kind of figure out, strategize a way forward, find a way to alleviate and unburden themselves of words that are weighing very heavily upon them. At this point in time, they're holding you in very high regard and high esteem. They're seeing you as somebody at this point in time who is really standing in their own power. You have taken back your power from situations that may have been a struggle at one point in time. If there had been obstacles that you'd been fighting through, they are viewing you in a very much a victorious energy, or they are seeing that you really have what it takes to overcome the challenges that you face. If maybe you're still kind of in the midst of these things, it is really encouraging this person to also want to overcome their personal fears, to deliver some kind of truth to you, as well as a desire to bring forth some kind of truth or even an apology to try and course correct in this situation, to get back into your good graces, to kind of smooth out the past, end any kind of difficulties, a burdensome cycle that you have been in, so that a fresh start, one that is based on clarity and authenticity, can hopefully commence between the two of you. So I'm going to get into these cards now and dig a little bit deeper into their thoughts and feelings about you at this time. So we have balance, centered energy, self-care, attachment, longing, desperation, keepers of the earth, you are not alone, ancient ancestors stand beside you, and starseed, what lights you up. So they're viewing you in this energy of really prioritizing your own health, wellness, and well-being. They may be very inspired by you at this point in time for ways in which they are either energetically aware or maybe have become aware in terms of what they are able to observe about you. Maybe some of them watching you from afar, watching on social media, for example. As far as toxicity or patterns of the past, maybe even sort of self-esteem issues, a lack mentality that you at one point in time had actually, or they had been perceiving that you were almost entangled in. They are seeing that you've really detached yourself from these situations. They're seeing you as somebody who is really prioritizing your own value, your own worth. You're taking time to tend to your needs on an emotional level. They're seeing you as somebody who is really seeking to fill their own cup first and foremost, rather than kind of giving to the point of depletion, over giving to others. That you're very cautious and discerning with the company that you keep. They are seeing that you have cultivated some kind of an admirable balance between like work, and time for self-care. You've reached a place or are actively engaged in and are very successful in reaching this balance between kind of the light and shadow aspects of yourself. So again, whether this is something that they are able to observe, maybe on social media, maybe they've heard about you from people that you know in common, or even just something that they're picking up energetically from you, they're seeing that you have evolved leaps and bounds from kind of where you were when they first encountered you earlier on in this situation. They may have seen you at one point in time almost in this energy of kind of like putting you on a pedestal in some way, but that they are moving more into this energy of kind of having a well-rounded opinion of you. You still feel very far out of reach to them, maybe very ascended in terms of your spiritual practices, in terms of changes in your lifestyle habits, the company that you're keeping as compared to them. It's almost a point on the horizon, like a beacon, a light that they are reaching for in their own life, which may be causing them to sort of hold back from communication at this point in time, but they are leaning into more of this grounded perspective of you. You represent less of this kind of mythological figure, something that's very, out of reach, unattainable for them. They're seeing you in your humanness at this point in time, both kind of your virtues and your flaws, and they are finding perfection in those imperfections. They are seeing you as somebody who really has your priorities in line. They view you as somebody very compassionate. This is something where they are wanting to, again, kind of these thoughts that they've been having, these feelings that have burdened them, they have been holding inside for quite some time. There's this urge to kind of reach out, to go out on a limb towards you and express something, to bring out of kind of the realm of theory and possibility into certainty and actuality. The potential to either reinvigorate the connection, to move beyond any difficulties you faced in the past, or to ground down the potential of what might develop and unfold between the two of you if this is like a newer connection, someone that you don't necessarily have a lot of difficulties with in the past. But it's a struggle. This energy here, this illustration on this balance card really brings to mind the idea of like Two of Pentacles energy. So they're going kind of back and forth as far as the time and manner in which to approach, leaning towards you, feeling very much entangled in a lot of fears within themselves, not wanting to appear desperate, holding you still in this high regard, seeing you in kind of this ascended energy. They may view you as very otherworldly, very mystical in a lot of ways. Maybe this is due to your spiritual practice or just something, about your energy, about your aura, that it almost awakens this desire, this questing within them for something more. There's a bit of an intimidation factor with that as well. They're wanting to impress you, but also understanding kind of the necessity of coming forth in a realistic and grounded energy. They're seeing you as somebody who has raised your standards in some manner, that you're not going to accept frivolity or games, mind games at this point in time, as you may have in the past. So any kind of trickery on their part, they are really starting to understand that they need to kind of quell that aspect of themselves, get a lot more serious. You are helping to motivate this person to kind of get their priorities in line in order to reach out to you with something to possibly move the connection forward in a more productive manner, or to at least kind of alleviate from themselves the burden of a lot of feelings that they have been holding within, regrets that they have for not having spoken some kind of truth sooner, or this can even relate to words that they had spoken perhaps very hastily or without thinking, something that was triggered by fear, like a fear of commitment, a fear of attachment, a fear of vulnerability, something that was really sparked or inspired energetically in them by you through this connection, that they are wanting to course correct away from that, to start to weave a new future between the two of you, something that carries the energies of balance. So kind of trying to find themselves at this point in time, center themselves, reach this place of kind of like equilibrium and harmony that they feel that you represent and that they are really sensing. They're picking up on wellness exuding from you, energetically speaking, or in whatever they are able to observe in the material world about you at this time. They're seeing you as very much in alignment with your higher self, that you are prioritizing your spiritual wellness, your emotional wellness, your physical well-being, your health at this point in time. All of this is very inspirational to them, but it also feels to really highlight a lot of the areas that are in need of improvement within them, that they almost feel are conditions to reaching out, bringing forth some kind of truth to you, wanting to come in your direction in kind of this energy of equilibrium, where they are able to reciprocate with you rather than having kind of these lopsided or one-sided energies, which may have been the case that kind of dismantled or interfered with the connection between you previously, or may have been an issue in their connections in their past, romantically speaking. So that this time around, in this situation with you, there's a desire to kind of try a different approach, cultivate something different within them to hopefully be able to generate different results in what may develop in time between the two of you in the future. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self and see, what does this person want you to know right now, group 1? And they say, I know we belong together. So if this is someone who had run from you, who had been very overwhelmed by the intensity and nature of their feelings and the connection in the past, this can be that confirmation of a desire to bring forth some kind of an apology, to course correct, to alleviate the burdens of this situation, whatever has occurred in the past, feelings that they have for you that they still hold within. It's a desire to be near you, to build with you, to weave a new fabric of what the two of you might develop into in the future. If this is a relatively new connection, there again is this desire to build and grow with you, to ground down into the material reality, the hopes and the potential of almost what they see as possible between the two of you. They also say, please give me some time to heal. So this is that confirmation of trying to achieve some kind of balance within themselves, trying to reach that place of equilibrium that they are recognizing that you represent, that you have cultivated within yourself, or that they are even just perceiving energetically from you, some fears that they are needing to work through, maybe even some entanglements, some attachments to third-party situations. It feels like a lot of these things are already starting to unravel, or that this person, if they are in a third-party situation, is strategizing a way out of that, out of those entanglements. Almost it's tying in with the idea of that Nine of Pentacles, where they're holding you in high regard. They're understanding that you're not going to tolerate nonsense like you may have in the past, kind of like overlooking red flags or giving this person the benefit of the doubt. They're understanding that if they come to you, they must come correctly. And so it's something where, they're trying to press forward, but it's something where they can only move so quickly. It feels that they have in some way transcended like this energy of procrastination, and that they're actively trying to kind of fight their way through whatever these sort of difficulties are. They're very much interested in coming out on the other side of this battle of freeing themselves, working through fears with this energy of victory in mind, but it's taking a lot longer than they would have imagined. It's almost tying in that for some of them, it's like now that they are trying to sort of resist their circumstances, push and extract themselves from that, it's like the more they struggle, the more kind of sticky those situations become, the more they are really starting to recognize kind of the web that they have entangled themselves with, whether this is in the form of other partnerships or even kind of fears or ideas within them that had caused them to sort of run from this connection in the past, that it's not so easy to just leap forward and have a fresh start with you. There's still a lot that they are needing to combat within themselves in order to reach this place of liberation and sovereignty and autonomy, to be able to bring something forth to you that is coming from a place of balance and confidence within them. And they also say, I have a happy surprise for you. So this can talk about communication they are planning. Again, that idea of sort of like the Two of Pentacles that we saw with the balance card over here. So weighing their options as far as what to say, how to deliver this kind of truth. If there's some kind of a birthday or like a special event that's coming up, maybe it was your anniversary. And this can be, indicating that this person is trying to plan something that coordinates, aligns with that, wanting to, emerge in your life at a time when there's already celebratory energies, wanting to present to you a version of themselves as well that is more healed, that is more confident than who you were dealing with in the past, so that their reemergence into your life brings the energies of pleasantries rather than further complications or burdens. If this is someone relatively new that you are dealing with, then again, this can be this idea of this surprise, wanting to really ground down into physical reality, these feelings that they have for you, this urge that they have to develop the connection in some way. This can even be a declaration, like with that Ace of Swords, a revelation of deeper truths, feelings that they have been holding for you for quite some time that have only been building, it's been growing stronger, and they're getting ready to make that known, to make that move. And they also say, I don't know how you feel. So more of that fear that might be kind of presenting as that web and that entanglement where they're wanting to leap forward, and yet there's an energy of self-restraint that is, it feels like necessary at this point in time, emanating from their higher self, their spirit guides, some element of them that knows that in order to come towards you, whether this is a new connection or somebody resurfacing from the past, that they must come correct. So they may be, taking some time to kind of meditate, go within, seek these answers, researching, looking you up online, looking at your social media to see where are you at in your life. Are you single? Are you available? What are your priorities? What are your focus? How has your life changed? Trying to almost feel in or tap in energetically to see how receptive are you to them. Even if it's someone that you're, relatively new that you're dealing with, it feels like they're kind of inching their way in energetically to see kind of how receptive you are to the expansion of the parameters of that dynamic between the two of you. But there's a bit of uncertainty as far as how you will receive them, wanting to kind of make sure that they come forth in the time and manner that is best suited to kind of the optimal result with you in terms of building and growing toward a future together. So I'm going to get a romance angels for you as some guidance from spirit about the situation, and then I will get some initials to close out the reading. Okay, we have romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So this can be, again, that confirmation of this person making their way towards you, wanting to reach out, wanting to express or to reignite some romantic feelings between the two of you. So this really feels to have this accompanying guidance of seeking within yourself at this point in time any kind of barriers or prohibitions that you might have, any kind of lingering hurts or wounds surrounding love and partnership, either with this person. Now would be a good time to try and heal that, clear out the space. If you are of the mindset where you are receptive to maybe a fresh start between the two of you, this can even be something which, indicates that vindication may be on the horizon, some form of closure. If this person had left you with a lot of questions, a lot of burdens, a lot of confusion as far as like what went wrong, what went awry when things that were seemingly going so well between the two of you. If this is a new person that you're dealing with, again, they may be getting ready to kind of come forth and express those romantic feelings. So prepare yourself is kind of the guidance that's coming through with this. Use this time to your advantage. Don't, sit in place and kind of actively wait for this person to reach out. But this is really bringing forth the idea of like magnetization. Be open and ready to receive some kind of a love offer, some kind of a gesture, some kind of expansion in this dynamic. And when you cultivate almost this energy of abundance within yourself, working to kind of continue to heal, continue to release, continue to open with optimism to, whatever form and fashion of love the universe wants to bring forth to you in the future. It definitely creates the right vibration, kind of the proper circumstances, the perfect recipe for this person to kind of sense that openness within you, and it can help them in their sort of journeying to boost their courage, courage, disentangle themselves from that kind of web of sort of confusion and uncertainty to take those steps, make that leap of faith, move towards you with some kind of offer, expression, or romantic gesture. So some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We have B, K, V, C, N, X, O, D, and P. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Oh, and I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards and general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, ascension, wellness, and self-love. So if that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the Hematite along with these cards, which I'll take a look at in just a minute. I'm going to start with some tarot to get kind of a general overview of the energies and start to get into what are this person's thoughts and feelings about you right now. Okay, so we have the Hermit, which is Virgo, 5 Five of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Death, which is Scorpio. And Hanged Man, which is Pisces. So it feels like this person is kind of at a major crossroads right now, with 3 out of these 4 cards being major arcana. There's a lot of focus on some kind of a conclusion, some kind of an ending, a fear of losing you. If this is kind of a newer connection, this is someone who may be very compelled to take a leap of faith, to approach or view the situation from a different lens. Maybe they had been taking their time, being very methodical, slow in their approach, a little bit guarded and defensive as far as opening up about their feelings, but they are sensing almost it's feeling like they're sensing the energy of kind of like incoming competition, maybe rivals for your affection that may be approaching on the horizon, and it's creating this sense of urgency within them. This can apply to someone you're currently dealing with or somebody from your past that is, maybe was just thinking like you'd always be there, you'd always be available. They could, just take their time, be very slow in their approach. Some things that they have been needing to work out within themselves if they were very much triggered by the situation in the past. Again, that same idea of almost sensing like rival energies that may be coming in, or there has been some kind of an awareness, something with their kind of this existential search that has been going on within themselves, of really realizing what they have kind of left unattended, which is their feelings for you. A lot of depth and potential that they really sense that they want to explore with you, and a sense of kind of like, why have I wandered so far away from a situation that maybe I wasn't able to appreciate very well in the past, but I'm now seeing with fresh eyes. So there's almost this feeling of kind of like chaos and kind of like clamoring to sort of course correct, retrace their steps to almost like where they last left you, but understanding that some kind of like time that has passed, some kind of a conclusion, things have definitely changed. They're feeling that, they're sensing that energetically. They themselves have changed, evolved, and matured in a lot of ways through any kind of distance or time that you two have been separated from one another. And there's this focus at this point in time as far as it's going to take something more than just retracing their steps in order to be able to kind of meet you in a place and at a level and in a nature that is very conducive to the possibility of resurrecting the connection in some way. This masked figure here on the Death card can indicate that this person is watching you from afar, spying on you, maybe using fake profiles or being kind of sneaky. This Hanged Man for me also speaks of the energy of kind of watching in a very unconventional method. So this is something where they're maybe trying not to let other people in their environment know about their feelings. It's almost like they're trying to tiptoe back into your reality. It's an energy of sneakiness, but it's almost like they want to, I'm hearing they want to catch you on a good day. They want to surprise you with something. They want to bring forth some kind of illumination or truth. And they almost don't want, I'm hearing they don't want their cover to be blown too quickly. So this may kind of have to do with sort of the delicate nature with which they are wanting to approach. If this is someone from the past that is, considering this kind of return, this rebirth in your life, if this is somebody new that you're dealing with, again, it's this idea of kind of wanting to approach with caution, feeling very conflicted within themselves, not really being sure if the feelings between you are mutual, if the time is right to take things to the next level. A part of them really not being sure if they're ready for kind of what expressing these feelings may present in terms of like a door that is open between the two of you, that once these things are stated, there's no kind of taking those words back. Once that's really brought out into the open, it changes everything between the two of you. So they're needing this time to really contemplate, but there's an urgency with that. Time is ticking in this situation, and it's almost like they're kind of getting tangled and sort of tripping over their own feet in this circumstance, wanting to rush in towards you, but at the same time needing to hold back in some way in order to observe the situation more, to really consider, are they ready to open this door with you to explore these feelings, to come back up from the past, to resurface. A feeling of they almost have like one shot, they have one chance to get this right, or they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves, to do things right in this circumstance, to bring forth something to you that is not just based on pure passion, but is kind of the product and the result of honoring their feelings, checking in with kind of their intellect, their logical mind, being very practical as far as what they're able to promise and provide to you by way of commitment, by way of action, by way of opening up further to these feelings and exploring these feelings. So it feels that kind of like the time that they are taking, or the time that you have been apart, if this is someone from your past, this has not been in vain. There's been a lot of kind of introspection, seeing things from a new perspective, seeing things from a new vantage point. They've really been kind of like marinating on things within themselves, within their kind of romantic history, the romantic past between the two of you. And there's a sense of wanting to sort of breathe life back into the connection, or if this is a new situation, almost feeling that this could be another chance, like a second chance, or something that they had closed the door on, that they had resolved themselves, was just not in the cards for them. Maybe at this stage in their life, maybe they're a little bit older and they had just kind of written off the idea of love and partnership, and something about you has really just sparked and invigorated and awakened them to the possibility that it might not be too late. There's still time for them to have and create this very beautiful romantic story in their life, but it's also giving them kind of this air of needing to be cautious, needing to want to sort of proceed with caution, or choose kind of like the wise path, the wise approach in this situation. Perhaps a little bit of almost like being overly logical, moving a little bit at like a molasses pace, but at the same time there's this fiery energy, this sense of urgency, that now that they have this kind of awareness, this revelation, something has come to light for them, that kind of like the longer that they procrastinate, the more that they kind of take their time, that window of opportunity closes, or it becomes more and more difficult for them to kind of express themselves, or to really kind of instigate this energy of a fresh start or momentum forward with you in the direction of the exploration and development of these feelings. So I'm going to take a look now at these cards to dig a little bit deeper into their thoughts and feelings about you. So we have your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition, family tree, expansion, legacy, play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious, and inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So this idea of play really ties into this energy of you represent a breath of fresh air for this person. You represent redemption in some way in terms of romance. There's a desire to bring forth to you, this energy of bliss, this energy of happiness, to not come forth in kind of this heaviness, almost trying to, maybe approach in sort of like a little bit of a surface level energy, being a bit fearful of kind of rehashing the past between the two of you, if this is someone you were dealing with previously. Again, that idea of like wanting to catch you on a good day when you're in a good mood. So a bit of observation, balance that is needing to occur within them, with these two kind of mirrored figures here on this inner temple card. They may see you as a counterpart, that the two of you really complement each other very well, but you also sort of you mirror to this person everything, kind of like the greatest potential of what love could become, and also everything that stands in the way within themselves and in terms of their surface and mundane reality that almost inhibits or limits the actualization of that potential. They see you as somebody who is very much, you've reached a place of like comfort within yourself. You stand in your authenticity. You are who you say you are. What you see is what you get, which may be very different from how they had been moving or operating in this connection before. If there'd been a little bit of, kind of being very fearful, running from the connection, detaching, making up excuses, kind of living in the energy of illusion that may make it very difficult for them to now kind of come forth and unmask themselves to reveal some kind of deep truth. You represent the exact opposite of that, which is very motivational to this person to step more into their deep authenticity, but it's also very challenging for them to really kind of admit this flaw or this fault within themselves. They're seeing you as somebody who this connection, feelings that they have for you that may still exist if this is something where you were dealing with this person previously, or if it's somebody new in your world, in your reality. They see you as somebody kind of like the seed of potential that could grow into a very stable connection in the future. You are somebody that they want to invest with. They're seeing you as somebody very grounded, very abundant, somebody who almost like what you touch turns to gold, and it feels in a lot of ways that analogy applies to them, that in some way, even as much as you have triggered unconsciously or consciously this person, you have helped them to kind of recognize or work toward or to become more aware of the need to unearth some hidden potential within them, ways in which they have maybe been kind of operating more out of a shadowy energy, things that may have interfered in romantic connections in the past or between the two of you in the past. You inspire and encourage this person to do better, to invest in themselves, to invest in kind of the transcendence of these obstacles and cycles within them. You represent the wholesome choice. You represent, the very healthy and healed choice if they maybe had a history of toxic partners or are currently entangled in something. You are kind of the polar opposite of that in a lot of ways. They recognize and sense a very deep spiritual connection between the two of you, with this idea of, your eternal spirit and the inner temple and these two kind of mirrored figures here. There's a draw to you. There's an intensity about this connection, something very activating to this person that is both magnetizing and repelling at the same time. So even if this is like a fresh connection, someone you don't have much romantic history with, it's that energy of the Five of Wands where, they're very much kind of like drawn in your direction, and yet at the same time they're recoiling from that because they are understanding that to engage more fully with you, further with you, it leads to expansion within themselves. It's almost like once this box is opened, once this, these feelings are spoken or explored, or kind of the connection is brought back up from the past, or there's an investment made in the possibility of a future with you to counteract any kind of disappointments they may have had in love up to this point, that it's almost like it's nothing that is kind of limited to their experience up to this point in time in love. It's something where, to interface with you, even in the dealings that they've had with you up to this point in time, there's been a lot that has been activated within them, a lot of passion that has been stirred, a lot of optimism which has been stirred, which may even be very triggering for someone who had been sitting in a cloud of pessimism for quite some time, almost that challenge to sort of step into this more light-hearted energy. It's making them aware at this point of how accustomed to disappointment they had become. So kind of that challenge to alleviate from themselves, to release from themselves some burdens that they had been holding within. There's this sense here of wanting to come towards you, not just in this very immediate energy, but to, return to you or to move towards you and express something with the interest of sort of this long-term commitment kind of energy. Again, like this next level soul connection, a very activating and triggering energy that you represent, that the dynamic between the two of you represents almost like a third energy in and of itself that is created through the dynamic, through the dealings with the both of you, that is very powerful. There's this desire to create with you, to grow with you, to build a family with you in some cases, maybe start some kind of a business together, some kind of shared mission that they recognize between the two of you. They may see you as a healer, as a light worker. At the very least, your energy, your presence, your essence is very healing to this person. It's very triggering, and at the same time, kind of the medicine is in the wound in this case. So as much as they're kind of like recoiling from this situation, they're very drawn towards you. You hold the answer or the key to something within themselves. It's an energy of being very kind of like fascinated with you on a level, like it's almost like they're watching from that kind of cloaked or shadowy energy, because they can't quite figure you out. There's something where they almost like can't help but study you, because something about you holds the key or the answer to these kind of like dormant seeds, or these questions that have been long kind of plaguing this person that exist within, and something about kind of how you move through the world, who you are, how you have structured your life, your relationship to self, your relationship to spirit. It holds a lot of these answers that they have been seeking, and may have even kind of given up hope of ever sort of discovering. You encourage them to not take life so seriously. It feels like they are viewing you in kind of this youthful energy, not in terms of like ignorance or naivete, but that you very much, despite what you've been through in your life, you've almost transcended kind of like the limitations or the tendency toward pessimism, or rather than being kind of like embittered by your situation or your history, your experiences in the past. They see you as somebody who's almost like transcended that. You've kind of achieved this return to innocence in a lot of ways. They see you as somebody who really appreciates life. You have a lot of gratitude for what's around you, somebody who's very grounded and stable in material reality, even while you have kind of this spiritual side to yourself. So all of this may be very perplexing for them. They may be used to people that are kind of on like a spiritual path, who are sort of like airy fairy and just very kind of flaky, and this might have been even just their preconceived notions, and you in some way abolish all of that idea. You're very much grounded in reality, and yet you have this spiritual side, this kind of connection to these higher realms that's very intriguing for this individual. You cause them to almost like take all of their sort of preconceived notions about, maybe things that you are passionate about, or a particular path that you are walking. You've turned these things upside down. You're helping this person to sort of view themselves and the nature of reality with kind of this fresh lens. You widen this person's perspective in a lot of ways. So this definitely goes way beyond romantic feelings that they have for you. On a spiritual level, you're very activating for this person. I'm hearing I could watch you for hours. So even just watching you sort of like move through the world, energetically speaking, this may even be something where through contact with you, this person is like now able to see auras, sense energies, things that in the past may have felt very, kind of flimsy to them. These weren't like concrete ideas. These weren't things that, were necessarily kind of like based in reality or had any kind of credence. The way that you kind of hold and embody these notions or these practices or these beliefs, or, it's just part of who you are. It's helping them to kind of like reshape and open up to aspects of themselves that they may have kind of closeted away, hidden away within them. You're helping this person to really sort of imagine a different future from almost like a life of like the mundane or a stagnancy they had kind of settled into, regardless of how old they are. It feels like some level of themselves, there'd been a lot of dreams that had been deferred, that they had just kind of shut down or shut away, that in some way you inspire this person to dream and to imagine again. You bring them also, again, as well, to this sort of like youthful energy of possibilities, this abundance mindset, not focusing on limitations, but instead focusing on kind of, the best possible circumstances that might arise, but not in a way that is naive, in a way that is very grounded and practical. They see you as kind of this perfect balance between logic and spirit, between the heart and the higher self, between kind of the worldly and the etheric in some manner. And it's almost like they're wanting to move towards you to emulate this frequency, a feeling of needing to kind of match that vibration in order to, almost like a fear of being sort of like swallowed up or absorbed by the frequency that you emanate, which may be causing them to sort of hold back, or it caused them to run from the situation in the past. But as much as they've been kind of pivoted away, they're being drawn back in towards you. To learn a lot from you, a lot that they are kind of discovering within themselves that they want to express, feeling that they may be able to teach you as well, a desire for reciprocity and cooperation in this situation, to bring forth some kind of truth to you, to come into alignment with sort of like a spiritual path that they may have sort of rejected or turned away from previously or had been unaware of. So if it's somebody that you were dealing with in the past, this is definitely the energy of wanting to come back into alignment with you, seeing the situation from fresh eyes, a lot of activations that have happened, a lot of telepathy, communication in those kind of higher realms that at one point in time may have been very confusing, but is now sort of like it's intriguing this person. They're leaning into, they're acclimating to sort of the intensity and the nature of what has been stirred within them through this situation. If this is someone new you're dealing with, same concept applies. You definitely activated this person. It may have been quite overwhelming. It was a struggle for them to kind of maintain their worldview, trying to stay very grounded in their worldly reality and their present circumstances, while at the same time being deeply fascinated and almost like compelled towards you, wanting to move towards you, wanting to kind of grow beyond their level of consciousness, their level of kind of focus and whatever they have going on in their material circumstances, in order to kind of rise and meet you in that sort of higher and more centered way of being, living, and moving through the world. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self and see, what does this person want to tell you right now, group 2. Okay, and they say, I am in a karmic situation. So if there is a third-party energy involved here, it's, again, kind of a struggle for this person to remain very present in their current relationship, in their current circumstances, because they are so fascinated, they are so compelled in your direction. You've activated this individual. You represent something different from kind of what they'd been settling for, their mundane reality. Hearing, I've never met anyone like you. So in a lot of ways, this may have been very triggering, very frightening for this person, and yet very alluring. They can't stop watching you. They can't stop thinking about you. You've really caused them to call into question the way they've been living their life, what they've been settling for, what they had viewed and kind of deemed as the epitome of success or satisfaction, or sort of where they were meant to be in their life, or what they were convincing themselves, or for a time had been very content with, very happy with. All of that has changed. You have very unconsciously and energetically caused this person to want to like raise their standards in some manner. This idea of a karmic situation can also tie into worldviews or ideas, maybe about spirituality in general, the nature of love and partnerships, any of that. It doesn't need to be like a physical person as a karmic situation. This can be that relationship with self-talk, with belief systems, with ideas. All of that is really being called into question by this person very actively at this point in time. It feels like they are struggling, though, to extract themselves from that, to really hold and to embody kind of this widened perspective, these new views and ideas that you represent, that you are inspiring this person towards. Perhaps even with these kind of these mirrored figures right here, and sort of that energy of counterparts, maybe even like a twin flame situation here, that this person has started to kind of explore the nature of these things in the separation, in this period of time where they are kind of like in between, sort of expressing deeper feelings towards you, making some kind of move, making something known. They have in the meantime been sort of looking into this nature of this exchange between the two of you. They may have come into this understanding of twin flames, of soulmates, and it has helped to kind of widen their perspective as far as the nature and types of relationships they had been involved in the past. They're recognizing that contrast, and it's a process of trying to sort of dismantle their current reality, move beyond the status quo as it exists for them in a multitude of ways, in order to be able to kind of come more deeply into alignment with you, into what they are determining as kind of like a divine connection, a divinely orchestrated connection, a deep soul connection, as opposed to situations that they maybe currently or had previously been involved in that were really just a reflection, a mirror of some wounding and limitations within themselves. They also say, I'm really attracted to you. So despite what they are holding back, whatever they are not saying at this point in time, as much as they are trying to just be very kind of like sneaky or mask their feelings, trying to, maintain decorum, a professional air with you. If this is somebody that it's like a work connection or, a friend, they're trying to just remain very platonic. It's all sort of an illusion. They are really harboring deep feelings towards you, as much as they may have kind of run or they're creating distance, boundaries, kind of not allowing themselves to indulge fully in this, to move upon this at this point in time in the material world. They are deeply magnetized towards you. They can't help but look. They can't help but be drawn in to want to explore these feelings out in the open. They can't help but to want to unearth this version of themselves and bring that more to the forefront of who they are and how they move through the world, that is inspired and encouraged through this sort of energetic exchange between the two of you. You represent wish fulfillment for them in a lot of ways that they had previously not thought was possible. They had maybe just dismissed as, kind of unattainable, sort of like the fantasy of love, and they had sort of shut that down, kind of settled for karmic situations, things that looked really good on paper, but you spark something, you awaken something within them. It's this curiosity. It's almost like the energy of young love, the possibilities. In a lot of ways, you almost make them forget all of the heartbreak that had occurred in their romantic past, that had made them leery of love, that had made them kind of closed down and guarded, feeling that they needed to kind of get their head out of the clouds and just focus on reality, focus on what's in front of them, what's available to them, what's kind of like easily accessible to them. You help this person to raise their standard in a lot of ways, as far as the life that they are living for themselves, and also what they are calling into and entertaining in terms of romance and partnership. They also say, you are my heaven on earth. So you again represent wish fulfillment for this person in a lot of ways. This is bringing forth the idea of like an earth angel. You're an angel walking around in the flesh. They never thought that they would meet someone like you. They've never met anyone like you before. You really inspire this expansive energy within this person. You activate this person. You deeply trigger and at the same time inspire them to want more for themselves, to become more within them. They also say, I will be reaching out soon. So definitely this person is not going to be content to just kind of play around in the shadows, remain hidden behind masks, and kind of watching from fake profiles for very long. It feels that they are sort of reaching the end of that kind of hermit stage, that period of withdrawal. Again, this idea of maybe sensing some competition on the horizon, other suitors that may or may not be already in your world, in your reality. Maybe they are sensing this energetically, or there's kind of like a fear of this, sort of like wanting to solidify the connection, or at least make their move towards you, so that they are not just left with this urge, these feelings, this unactualized potential forever. So for a lot of you, they are, planning this move, planning this maneuver. It may be kind of like a baby step towards you, something small that sort of, unblocks the communication, something where, they start to discuss things more of a romantic nature, make that bold leap, that move towards you, maybe just throwing caution to the wind and making some kind of bold declaration in order for the two of you to be able to explore these feelings at least more openly. But it feels like this is somebody who definitely feels that sense of urgency. They can't go on just kind of like holding this inside, as much as they try and run and kind of pull away from this or deny these feelings. It's something that's been kind of opened and awakened within this person through meeting you, through interacting with you, that they can't contain this. They can't close their eyes to this. They have been forever changed by this situation, and it's increasingly difficult for them to kind of fit inside of the box that they had previously been living in, now that you have intentionally or unintentionally kind of provided them this expansive and activating energy of the potential of what love can be in the material world. So I'm going to get a Romance Angels card for you as some guidance from Spirit about the situation, then I'll close it out with some initials. Okay, we have playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So that's a beautiful confirmation of what we saw here with this idea of play and have fun. This is definitely guidance to, remain open to the time and manner in which this person will either resurface in your life, or if it's someone that you're dealing with, when they will, kind of open up, let their guard down, express more of these tender and loving feelings for you. Being receptive to that, flirting, just really having fun, enjoying the time that you do get to spend with this person, focusing on things that make you feel very free, very, very comfortable in your own skin. It's this light that you exude that is definitely drawing this person in. You being you it's all you need to do. It's very effective. So trying not to take the situation too seriously, trying not to focus on the gravity of kind of like, well, what will happen between the two of us, especially if this is like a twin flame or a counterpart or a soulmate situation, allowing that to unfold very organically. It feels that for a lot of you, it is this person's almost like task to kind of level up in this situation, to bring forth that personal truth to you, making sure not to put that pressure on them, setting the bar, raising that standard. If that conversation is broached between the two of you, if this is somebody that comes back from the past, making sure that you're very clear as far as what you expect, what you need, what you're willing to give, and what you are kind of anticipating in return in terms of the reciprocity of romance and partnership, but also being very flexible on kind of allowing this person the time to meet you at that level, to raise their vibe, raise their kind of corresponding actions with you. Understanding that time is on your side in this situation. The future is very much, it's malleable. It is not written in stone in this circumstance. So just gratitude and joy and just really enjoying the experience and the time that you have together in whatever form that comes, whether this is kind of like an energetic interaction between the two of you or whatever they bring forth in the material world. Understanding as well that they may, again, start with baby steps. They may start small, needing to kind of move beyond their comfort zone, rather than kind of diving head first into the intensity of this situation, which in many ways is very triggering. It's next level. This is outside of their comfort zone, allowing them that time and space to evolve very organically into this situation, while still keeping your integrity intact, checking in with yourself, making sure, does this still feel good? Does this still fulfill you on the levels that you need? If you sense any kind of stagnancy, kind of having that conversation, or just, again, kind of prioritizing yourself, focusing on yourself, not losing yourself to kind of the expectation of what you think will unfold, how this should look, being very open to being pleasantly surprised, to kind of the evolution, the very natural development of the romantic feelings between the two of you is almost the best recipe for building something that is mutually fulfilling and sustainable by the both of you in the future. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got I, P, F, J, H, S, and M. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot. There's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick a cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. I chose the clear quartz along with these cards, which I'll take a look at in just a minute. I'm going to start with some tarot to get kind of an introduction to this, to these energies, see where this person's at right now, and anything that's coming through as far as their thoughts and feelings about you. Okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles, which is Earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Knight of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Page of Pentacles, so more earth energy. And Six of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So this Two of Pentacles here is really reminding me of somebody who's trying to get their affairs in order. They may have recently had some kind of opportunity to relocate, maybe regarding like a professional opportunity, some kind of a promotion, something where kind of a stage or phase of their life has come to a conclusion, or they're giving serious consideration to that, to moving on, to moving away from something. Starting over, starting fresh, somebody that may have in the past really sort of existed in this energy of almost like people pleasing, or had been very kind of like materially focused. They are now starting to prioritize kind of the truth of their heart, matters of the heart, letting their heart guide them in kind of this energy of forward momentum. It may be something where they are reaching kind of like a milestone event in their life, some kind of like a graduation, again, a major promotion. This can also be like a significant birthday that they have had or that is coming up, some kind of like a wake-up call that they have had, like a heart chakra opening, heart chakra awakening, and that this is maybe something that was triggered in the past by the situation with you, the energies between the two of you. If this is someone you were dealing with previously that may have really run from this connection, kind of pulled back, been very sort of overwhelmed, trying to kind of focus and distract on life as they knew it kind of before this profound sort of changing of events within them, energetically speaking. But it feels that they've almost acclimated to that in a sense, and they are now starting to almost look at the world, look at their circumstances from the lens of the heart, rather than kind of the very ego-based operations that they had been conducting before. And there's a desire with this to bring forth to you some kind of vindication, some kind of an offer, some kind of an apology, something that can help the two of you really clear the air, provide solutions, to creatively work towards solutions. The energy of compromise is here in this Two of Pentacles, somebody who is wanting to work with you to build toward the future of this situation, to repair what can be repaired, to salvage what can be salvaged, and to move forward wiser and more compassionately with one another than you had in the past. A sense of almost like loneliness at this phase of their current journey, where they're looking around them and it's almost like they may be, having a lot of company surrounding them, but it's loneliness in a crowded room is sort of the energy right here. There's a desire to invest in or to seek out or to prioritize sort of the substance of the soul rather than things that just kind of fit and fulfill the ego. It may be a struggle for this person right now to kind of maintain appearances, maintain the status quo when their heart is calling them to move in another direction. If they are in some kind of other entanglement, it may be sort of like that situation is very much on the rocks. It's getting ready to collapse, or it has started to collapse, and they are in the process of kind of like packing their bags and moving beyond that. It's very clear that this is not sustainable. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of kind of like fear-based energies that surround that situation. And the contrast of that is what they have experienced with you. No matter if this is a situation where you have a romantic history with this person, or if this is something where, maybe this is somebody new in your life, in your reality, a friend, for example, or somebody that you know through work, and they are in another partnership, maybe you're both in other partnerships. There's something about kind of like what has been awakened within them, emotionally speaking, the feelings that they have for you, this kind of draw that they have towards you. Again, this heart chakra activation energy, that it's very much a contrast to what they have going on kind of in their regular life, what they have known of partnerships in the past, or whatever else they are entertaining at this point in time, that it's kind of like you can't even compare the two. It's like apples and oranges here. One situation, very tense, kind of like walking on eggshells feels to be the situation, in this person's life in a lot of ways, or this has been kind of the case in romances of the past that may have caused them to be a little bit shut down or guarded when it came to investing in the connection with you previously, or at this point in time, and kind of moving things forward. There's this contrast here, this element of almost like freedom and expansion. There's a level of comfort where they feel very compelled to be very generous with their feelings, and that might be such a contrast to what they have sort of known and experienced of love and partnerships before. So a little bit of like a struggle, sensing again this polarity here, what you represent for them. This very kind of like heart-centered energy, the energy of transcendence, a different way of maneuvering through partnerships, of sort of moving in life. They see a lot of growth potential. There's a desire to evolve forward with you, to explore these feelings, to express these feelings in some way, to see what the two of you can develop out of those things, versus kind of a little bit of maybe these considerations or elements, obstacles in the material world, things that they are needing to consider, a bit of maybe even kind of like fear of commitment that might be holding them back, a fear of making some kind of move towards you, out of fear of kind of like toppling their current circumstances, a fear of rejection. What if you don't feel the same way? What if you won't accept their apology? What if you are not interested in kind of exploring these things? Where does that leave them then? So a little bit of vacillating back and forth between trying to kind of maintain the status quo, continuing to sort of walk on eggshells, walk this tightrope of a very tenuous balance that they have in whatever their current circumstances and dynamic looks like, compared to, at least sort of freeing themselves of this questioning, this feeling that they have, this very, tangible desire that they have for you, a lot of potential, a lot of growth potential that they see in this situation that they want to explore. Are the seeds of attraction and love between you still viable if this is someone you were dealing with in the past, or if it's somebody new? What can come from kind of nurturing these seeds of potential, maybe these unspoken feelings, taking things to the next level, but a bit of fear of almost like failure, or a fear of kind of like investing in this situation, opening up too much, expressing too much of this truth that they are kind of holding inside. They're guarding, they're being very secretive about at this point in time, out of this kind of sense of, if things fall apart, then what are they left with? At least at this point in time, they've got these very, this tangible energy of desire, these feelings that they have for you. It's like their best kept secret at this point in time. It provides them with a sense of stability and grounding, as maybe other things in their life are really being called into question, as they're needing to make some changes, or change is just coming for them in a lot of ways. Again, this point of contrast between how they have been moving through the world, and it's almost like a black and white existence compared to, you bring a full spectrum of color into their reality, into their heart space. This is someone who feels very revived in the heart space, very invigorated, very rejuvenated. Maybe they had shut down to love a long time ago, a while ago, after one significant experience or like a series of experiences. They've tried to just sort of move through the world in a mechanical fashion, very cautious, keeping love at arm's length, but almost without sort of being able to help it. They have developed feelings for you, or if this is someone you were dealing with in the past, those feelings have never died. They have continued to hold you in a very special and sacred place within them, and there is a desire to express some kind of truth, make some kind of communication to see if the two of you can start again. Can you move beyond whatever has happened in the past? Can you reach a place of compromise, so that the energies and kind of the experience between the two of you can lean more into compassion and love versus sort of like the difficulties and whatever the wedges and obstacles are or were that existed between you previously. So I'm going to get into these cards now and dig a little bit deeper into their thoughts and feelings about you at this time. We have personal guide, guardian angel, spirit family, thought vibrations, resonant choices, signature signals, Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided, and take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So this idea of take a break really calls up those energies of you awaken this person to some way in which they had been moving through the world, operating out of kind of ego, maybe settling for things that sort of looked good on paper, maybe settling for kind of toxic or limiting situations, circumstances where they had become almost, kind of like comfortable and yet at the same time not deeply fulfilled, but they were just kind of like settling for these energies. You help this person to want more for themselves. They are feeling your energetic presence with them. It feels that there's a lot of dream interaction between the two of you, a lot of telepathic interaction between the two of you. This is somebody who in their mind is almost having these conversations with you that they are not at the place of readiness to have in the material world, or it's almost like it's a trial run. It's kind of a rehearsal. They can't help but to, almost like have this kind of interaction with you in this internal landscape, in this internal plane. You represent an anchor for this person in a lot of ways as they're in this process of kind of change and transformation. transmutation of their circumstances, sort of looking about at the life they have built, where they are in their world and in their reality, wanting for more, wanting for this expansive energy. And it's almost like they're consulting you, energetically speaking, or they're keeping you in mind. You are part of this consideration as far as the next phase or chapter of their reality. They see you as somebody that they would like to build a future with. They are feeling this as a very divinely guided connection, a very divinely orchestrated connection, that it's no accident that they have encountered you. They are seeing you as a blessing to them. Even if this is something which, the words that they have spoken or their actions are very contrary to that, kind of the hidden truth, the secret truth that they hold within, in a lot of ways, is that you have saved them in a certain capacity from, I'm hearing perpetual boredom. So this may be something where they've just been really kind of going through the motions of their life, just living a very ordinary, very predictable life, just kind of like doing their time, counting the hours until the weekend or until, kind of just these very sort of like surface level points of exhilaration, and just merely experiencing your presence, thinking about you, interacting with you, energetically speaking. It's brought in such an invigorating energy into their life, into their reality, that they didn't quite appreciate just how bored they were in the circumstances they have created for themselves. If this is somebody that had kind of left you out on the lurch, had this kind of like grass is greener energy, they have come full circle to the realization that whatever they had invested in that may have looked very shiny or good on the surface really lacked substance. They are seeing you as almost this blessing. There's a lot of kind of guilt and regret for having turned a blind eye to that, for having kind of, again, left you out in the lurch, or not appreciating this connection more in the past. If this is somebody new that is in your reality, it almost feels like these prayers that they have been very silently and almost with this thought or this kind of resignation that these things would just go unanswered, like this quiet desperation. They've been calling out to the universe for something, some kind of meaning, some kind of life force to come into them, to help shake up their reality, to help sort of free them or give them perspective in some manner about how to kind of move beyond a set of circumstances. You really represent that for them. You represent this answered prayer. And it's an invitation, it's a door that is opened for this person to kind of step forth into a new way of being. Maybe this is something very unconscious. Maybe this is something, and just kind of like energetically, you are inviting this person to up level. This may also be kind of an emanation of who you are, how you move through the world, what you base your life around, your relationship with spirit, your relationship with source, your relationship with self. Maybe some of you have kind of like a spiritual path or psychic gifts that you're open about, that it's part of who you are, of your dominant personality. It's part of that authenticity. It's part of that face that you present to the world. All of this is something that it is such a breath of fresh air compared to the type of people, the priorities of people that they have been surrounding themselves with. They see you as somebody who is, you're very abundant. You know how to work hard, but you also know how to prioritize rest and self-care. You encourage this person as well to kind of go easy on themselves. Any ways in which sort of the choices that they have made or the place that they find themselves at in their life, a struggle to extract themselves from that, they are seeing, kind of letting you lead by example into this energy of surrender and flow. You inspire this person to make different choices, to really listen to that heart-centered guidance and allow that to determine kind of the direction that they are moving forward. They feel very much drawn and magnetized to you. They may feel that, again, like this idea of you're heaven sent, you're a guardian angel, you are soul family, you are spirit family to this person. They may even recognize you as like a counterpart energy. You are this answered prayer. And it feels like something that, there are romantic feelings here for you that they are wanting to express, to explore. It's very almost enchanting, this idea of a spiritually based romantic relationship. It feels that in a lot of ways you represent something they have never known or experienced in partnerships before. They may have been just in kind of very surface level connections, things that were very logical, very practical. It made sense. It was what was available. It was what was around. It met kind of those surface level and ego needs, but you speak to this person at a soul level. You represent something that they have been craving that they never even knew was a possibility. You help to expand this person's mind to different kind of ideas. They see you as somebody very, very grounded and yet very spiritual. They see you as somebody who holds a lot of wisdom within yourself. That the moves that you make, these are not kind of arbitrary, but that you really listen to your intuition. You listen to your guidance. They're very inspired by this. So more than just those, again, kind of like romantic feelings. This is somebody who is very drawn to you in a spiritual manner, in some way that they feel that you have been placed upon their path or in their reality, not just for the potential of what might develop between the two of you romantically speaking, or what might have the possibility to be kind of resurrected in the situation if it was someone you were dealing with in the past, but in a lot of ways that you're almost that way shower for this person at this crossroads point, or you have created that crossroad for this individual. As far as now there's an option. Now they have kind of the details of continue along the mundane and the practical and how they've been leading their life, or here's this other kind of road, here's this other kind of route, here's this other passageway to having an earthly existence, being like in the world but not of it, is how they really view you. You represent that, you embody that beautifully. And it's something to where they may not have prioritized spirituality before. They may have, kind of turned away from their faith, turned away from the divine. Somebody who, had never kind of experienced any of that, and yet in some manner, your relationship with these forces, with these aspects, and with these elements, it has awakened something within this person. Almost like the idea, I'm hearing born again. So this may be something where, through whatever it is that you do as a spiritual practice, it has really inspired this person to kind of explore some threads from their own history. They are starting to really ask questions, to really sort of direct attention at things more than just in the mundane world, understanding kind of the nature of sort of like manifestation and law of attraction in a lot of ways, that they have sort of sought that guidance. They have kind of put that question or that request out to the universe, to get answers, to get some kind of relief, some kind of confirmation. You have been brought into their reality, and in some way, you're almost like a flagstone along this path now to this person exploring these deeper aspects of themselves, their relationship with source, their relationship with spirit, reinvigorating their kind of relationship with the divine, or the exploration of these concepts and ideas, which it feels, aside from these romantic feelings, it's adding a lot to the measure of this person's existence. You represent excitement, the questions that you bring up, the way in which you live your life, even if this challenges this person's worldview. At the same time, it is, really inspiring them to go and seek their own answers, to find their own personal truth, to quest deeply into those internal realms, and into the realms of spirit in a way that other people in their life and in their existence and in their reality never inspired them to do. You definitely are encouraging this person to kind of break from the herd, to march to the beat of their own drum. They're very much inspired by you and are very intrigued, and at the same time, they feel almost a little bit lost in the notion of what that might look like, a spiritual partnership here on the earthly plane. It feels so outside of the box from what they've known. So they almost don't know how to kind of deal with this or approach this. There's this certainty that they want this. They want to explore this to kind of see what might grow and develop, but it's almost like expanding and growing out into this unknown territory, into this darkness. So a little bit of kind of like trepidation and fear, because this is so unlike what they have experienced in dynamics with other people, and certainly in terms of romantic partnerships previously. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self and see what do they want to tell you right now. Okay, and they say, I get excited every time I see you. So you definitely stir something within this person. It's like spiritual awakening energy, heart chakra activation, an element, a side to life that they do not often experience or have not often experienced in their kind of mundane and routine reality. There's this urge to create with you, to expand with you, to grow with you, to explore the seeds of potential either from the past or that have been unactualized up to this point in time, and a curiosity about what moving more in the direction of the exploration and expression of these feelings, what that might possibly grow into. You already affect them so much at this point in time that it's almost like this energy of giddiness when they contemplate and consider what a connection with you would look like in the material world, what resuming the connection at this stage of both of your lives might look like as well if this is somebody from your past. They also say, you feel like home to me. So this is that confirmation of that soul family, that spiritual bond that they feel with you, a counterpart energy there. You represent this sanctuary of kind of this unexplored potential, areas and aspects of this person that are not often recognized or appreciated by people in kind of their mundane or ordinary reality. This feels like somebody who's almost like they're undernourished spiritually in their kind of day-to-day reality. And in some manner, you present to them this vibration. Maybe it's through practices that you have, the way you live your life, or even just something energetically. You represent this safe space through which they might explore who they are, not just the romantic feelings between the two of you, but who they are as the individual. What is their untapped potential? What is kind of that greater purpose and meaning to their life in this reality, in this existence? So it's a deep feeling of like sanctuary, spiritual resonance, or at least this kind of safe space for this person to go through the motions of exploration of who they might become versus kind of like their current reality or even sort of past romantic situations, which it feels like expected only sort of like a surface level, almost like mediocrity out of this person, or, was very not encouraging them to grow, but encourage stagnation instead. That you're the opposite of that. You encourage growth and expansion in a very positive direction for this person. They also say, I'm so happy when I'm around you. So again, that energy of excitement, elation, this person comes to life when you are around them. You have opened their heart in a major way. You have really breathed life back into what may have been a very kind of stale, mundane, stagnant, a very kind of boring existence. You represent this excitement, this mysticism. It's almost like you are walking divinity in a lot of ways, something energetically or even just how you live your life. It's something that this person wants to emulate. They want to cultivate that within themselves. They want to become magic in the same way that you are. It's something where you open them up to the possibility of not just who they are and who they've been, but who they might yet become, no matter how old they are. It's this sense of potential and promise and possibility that they have not experienced or felt in quite some time. They also say, is it too late to apologize? So again, if somebody had, gone in another direction, kind of like grass is greener energy, they have really scratched beneath sort of the shiny veneer of those circumstances and have come to the conclusion that substance and spiritual sustenance, it exists with you in this connection. There's a desire to resume the situation, to make up for lost time with you. If this is somebody who, you're presently dealing with, you don't exactly have a romantic history yet, it's a lot of like unactualized potential, then it's almost like them wanting to apologize for taking so long to outwardly express or explore or lean into or kind of open up to more of these kind of spiritual layers of who they are. They have felt very drawn to you almost from the start. Very immediately you activated something within them. You represented something so different, but it feels like somebody who's almost just been sort of looking in awe at the situation, not really sure how to kind of bring that comparable energy out from themselves. A little bit of fear, kind of trying to cling to their material reality, walking the razor's edge of not necessarily wanting to invest fully in the situation with you, still kind of clinging to old patterns and old habits. So it's this energy of like apologizing for taking so long to expand into that energy of the heart, to allow the heart to lead them forth to the truth of what might develop between the two of you, and an apology for taking so long to reveal these deep and secret feelings that they have had for you for quite some time. So I'm going to close this out with an angel card for some, or a romance angel for some guidance, and then I'll get some initials. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So if your spidey sense had been going off about this person who is kind of vacillating, walking that razor's edge, having a lot that they are holding within, and you're just able to sense that like something is up, it's maybe made you put your guard up, there's a little bit of uncertainty here, maybe fearing, the other shoe's going to drop, they're going to pull away, they're going to run away, or if this is someone who has run from you in the past, and you're feeling this sense of anticipation that they may be planning their approach, they may be planning this return. This is an indication here that, these feelings between the two of you, whatever is expressed, whatever sort of token or gesture that this person makes towards you, that there is something to that. It might kind of come in sort of a clumsy package. It feels like this person really taking that leap of faith to sort of step forth out of their comfort zone and into kind of a way of relating to love and romance and partnerships, or to you in a way that is very uncharacteristic for them. And so, just being very open-minded about that, kind of reading beneath the surface of, again, what might be sort of like a clumsy gesture or a clumsy sort of move forward, really trusting in that spiritual self, those psychic abilities, that intuition as far as the energies, the vibration of kind of what you're feeling and what you're sensing. Understanding as well that, this time apart, if this is somebody that you are at a distance from, they have really gained some kind of perspective and contrast. This doesn't mean that you need to just kind of take that apology, take them back into your world, into your reality, but it feels that for a lot of you, when they come forth, it is with this genuine interest to kind of grow, to develop, to repair the situation, and to move forward. Obviously, it's everybody has free will. You can choose to kind of accept that, or use that as kind of the final bit of closure to sort of end this situation and move in another direction. But in either event, there is definitely a lot of potential to ground down this vibration of love into the material plane. That this may be very new territory. It may come with a bit of kind of discomfort, be a bit sort of scary to the two of you to open this door, to explore this parameter, or to invite or allow this person back into your reality. Taking things slow, communication being very much a key as the two of you sort of wiggle your way through the difficulties or the obstacles or kind of the awkwardness or the discomfort, being very patient with that. The idea of like love is patient, love is kind, not settling for crumbs, not being a doormat to this person if it's somebody from your past, holding your standard very high, keeping that idea of self-love that you have cultivated in the time since the two of you have kind of parted ways with one another, letting that be the standard that this person then has the ability to raise themselves up to meet. If it's somebody new that you are dealing with, not maybe allowing their awkwardness up to this point in time, or the sense of withholding that you have perceived from them, to be a barrier or kind of a deal breaker to, the steps that they are able and willing to take to kind of lean more deeply into the expression of this, to try to allow these feelings to flourish as much as they are capable of, at a measured pace. Again, the idea of love is patient and love is kind. So taking your time with this, really honoring the parts of yourself that may feel very vulnerable through this process, anything that you feel deeply triggered about, communication being very key, very crucial to kind of the evolution of this thing in a very organic manner. And making sure that you're comfortable with the pace of how things are progressing, making sure that it resonates with you, checking in with yourself. This person sees you as very much a spiritually aligned being. And so, utilizing that, recognizing that within yourself, trusting your intuition and your internal guidance first and foremost as you are navigating into and through this new territory that this person may present to you in the near to immediate future. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or I could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got C, X, Q, M, U, T, Y, V, and S. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards as well as general energy check-ins, and the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.